Welcome to Medrash and Maisa, where each week we'll try to share a story that connects to one of the themes of Parshas Hashavua. In Parshas Shemos, we're introduced to Moshe Rabbeinu taking on leadership of Am Yisrael. And Mefarshim point out that the Torah shows us one action of Moshe Rabbeinu before he gets assigned that leadership position. Vayetze el echa vayar b'sivlosam. He went out to his brethren and he saw their suffering. Rashi says, Nasan eino v'libo lios meitzar lehem. He applied his eyes and his heart to feel their pain. The question is, what does this beautiful action in Midah do to help people? How does it help to see someone's pain? This concept of nosei bolim chavero, to see and feel someone else's pain. Listen to a story that happened in Bobov before World War II, where a young chassid experienced something that brought tremendous benefit to him for the rest of his life. The Bobov Rebbe, Rav Ben Zion Halberstam Zatzal, invested a tremendous amount of attention in the young people in his community. He founded a yeshiva. He spent more time with the young boys than he did with the older chassidim. And on Pesach, he asked that all the boys of the yeshiva stay with him for the Pesach Seder. They set up a huge Pesach Seder with over 1,000 boys in the Beis Medrash. Tables were laid out. The Rebbe entered in his kittel and sat down, and he looked out across the sea of Bava Rebachrim. Suddenly, he called over his son. Now, the Rebbe had a minhag of not speaking about anything on Leila Seder that was not directly connected to the Haggadah and to the mitzvahs of the night. So he called over his son and he started flipping through the Haggadah. And he reached the part in the Haggadah where it talks about Maaseh b'Rabbi Elazar v'Rabbi Yoshua. He put his finger on that name Yehoshua, and then he motioned to his son this motion of like, where is he? So his son understood that his father's looking for Yehoshua. The problem was that there were many, many boys among those thousands of Bava Chassidim named Yehoshua. So he started to list ones. He said, are you looking for Yeshua Tzanzer? The Rebbe shook his head, no. Are you looking for Yeshua Kshanever? The Rebbe shook his head, no. Finally, he said, Yeshua Yardenover? The Rebbe nodded. And he went like this. He said, where is he? So the Rebbe's son felt that it must be difficult to find him in the crowd. He started looking. He couldn't see him. He started calling out his name. Yeshua Yardenover. Yeshua Yardenover. There was no answer. One of the boys saw this happening, and he ran over to the Rebbe's son. He says, I know where he's staying. I'm going to go look for him and see what's happening to him. So he ran to the house where this boy was going to be sleeping that night. When he came in, he found the boy in terrible pain. His mouth was swollen. He appeared to have fever. He was shaking. And when his friend asked him what's going on, he says, I have terrible toothache, terrible pain. There's some kind of infection in my mouth. So he says, I'll try to do whatever I can to help you. And he ran back to the Beis Medrash where this Leil HaSeder was set up. There was total silence in the room. The Rebbe was sitting there, looking out at the Sea of Bachrim, not saying anything. The boy came running up and he said, I found him. He has fever. He has a terrible toothache. Now the Rebbe spoke. He said, go to my house, take aspirin pills, take hot water, bring that to him. Make sure that you cover him well with blankets, make sure that he's warm. And only after this boy went and took care of his friend and came back and reported that he seemed to be okay, did the Rebbe continue with the Seder. That was that Pesach. That boy Yoshua Yardenover had a very, in his eyes, bad Seder night. A few years passed, the war began, and Yeshua was taken to a variety of camps. Aside from the physical torture in the camps, he said, was the spiritual torture. He ended up in a labor camp where he was the only person in his group that was trying to keep Torah and mitzvahs. Not only was he the only one, but the people around him made fun of him. They said, how can you be trying to do a mitzvah? You're trying to daven when you just ate horse meat. You're trying to keep Shabbos, to say a Shabbos davening when you just had to be Mechalel Shabbos. What's the point? And he said that At times, this would start to get to him. He would feel himself weakening. But as soon as that would happen, he saw a vision. He saw in his mind something that his eyes never saw. That night, where the Rebbe was looking across the Seder tables, looking for him, asking, where is he? Where's Yeshua? Make sure that he's warm. Make sure that he's safe. And he said when he would remember that scene in his mind, it would strengthen him. And he says, because of that toothache, he and his family are Jews who are keeping Torah and mitzvahs today. It was because of the Vayar B'Sivlosam. He knew that the Rebbe was looking for him. He knew that the Rebbe wanted to see him. And in that look was Nasan Einav V'Libo, not just seeing, but caring. When a person knows that we see them and we care for them, even if we don't have that much that we're able to do at the time, that alone can strengthen and redeem a person from some of the greatest challenges in life. May we not be challenged in difficult ways, but life always has its challenges. May we give our eyes and our hearts to each other, as the Baba Rebbe did, Rebbe Zion, the Tiferes Zion, and be able to strengthen each other ad bias goel. Have a wonderful Shabbos.